Hi there, welcome back. And today, this is episode 3 of Men Unfiltered, the podcast just for men only. I'm sorry, podcast just for men, recording in there. Men are recording this one. No women are allowed on this one, not even the room. Maybe during the breaks, they could come bring us a beer, but that's pretty much it. But just one topic I want to hit on first before we get into some topics and some unfiltered topics. Let's go with pride in arguments. You know, because we kind of touched on, about men. Why don't we confide in women? Why don't we do our feelings and all that? And a lot of it, of course, was some women involved. Well, mostly because of women involved. But I want to touch on that in the next episode. I want to dig deeper on that and how we could overcome all that. You know, what is the basis that, if men need to change, so do women, And it has to be a process where we both work together to make that change on there. But right now, one of the topics is just pride. Men have pride where, like sometimes they don't admit when they are wrong. And women do the same thing, or women are just not going to hear what we have to say. And vice versa, when the women are wrong and they don't want to admit it. And it comes back to the men with the same thing. We're like, man, so what do we do? Like, is pride actually a factor in arguments when we have arguments on there?
When it comes for men and pride in arguments, it's just one of those things where I feel like most of the men I know in my life, they don't, I'm going to say not confrontational, but they are just like it's more of a it is what it is mentality. And when they decide to, it's like, okay, I'm going to defend myself or stand firm on this topic, it's because like they've let like a lot of things necessarily slide. Like they've said, they've said, okay, you're right. And they've tried to de-escalate the situation previously. So, or just not hold score. So when they're finally, I guess, holding their ground on an argument, it is going to be perceived as pride. Because a lot of times, from my experience and seeing from my friends, women hold scores in things, in arguments and disagreements. For whatever reason, I feel like their recall on any situation, major or small. So when it comes to a guy finally taking a stand or just defending himself, it takes a lot for him to do that. So the fact that he's doing that must mean like he's genuinely serious, or he's genuinely has like a deep passion for whatever he's debating about. Yeah,
and then a lot of times they go, well, he's just stubborn. He's just stubborn in his ways. He's stubborn that he doesn't want to see that, my point of view, which is a woman's point of view, that I am right on that. And like you said, when he finally takes a stance, because when you're having arguments, and when women do keep score, because they do, now I kind of just let it go. Like, all right, we want to argue about it. That's your point. You think you're right. Great. I'm just tired of this back and forth stuff. When men and women argue now, they want to win. I am the winner. I was right. You are the loser. You're wrong. It's not arguing to win. We're not lawyers here. We're not in a courtroom where we're going to lay all these facts down. Well, you did this. Well, you did that. And you're picking every little thing that was going on and just to one up your partner on that. But it does really no good. So when you do take a stance, which I do this sometimes, it's like, no, I'm not going to let this go. I let like all these 10 things go, right? If I keep letting this go, you're going to be right all the time, even though when you're wrong. And I come to realize when I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. I got to own it. I got to understand it, not do it again, go from that. But women, I don't think have that mentality to do that. Hopefully they're growing with us as men to say, okay, if we're demanding this from men, not to be argumentative, then we have to be the same way too. If me and my wife are arguing, all right, and she, in her mind, she knows 100% right. There's no compromise. There's no meeting in the middle. So when I tell her, like, hey, you're not meeting me here. What's going on? I thought we were supposed to compromise. Well, no, because you this and this, that. You know, you're wrong from this. And I'm like, okay, if I was wrong, I'll be wrong. You know, do I just suck it up again and not let it happen, or I go for the argument? And when I do go for the argument, then we don't talk for days. Sometimes it's been 2 weeks, you know, and that's become a trend, you know. So I'm like, no. So I tell her, hey, let's go talk. Let's go get a car. Let's go down the street. And sometimes she'll say it too. And I'm thinking, okay, well, she's coming to apologize, or she's coming to see, like, okay, let's come a common ground. Yeah. And she'll be like, okay, well, I'm just here to want to bring you out so you could say what you have to say. And I go, what do you mean by that? Well, you know, about because you did this, you did that, you did that. And I'm like, oh, you brought me here to continue, not to end the argument. But you want to end the argument, but you want to end it with your trophy.
End it on the high ground.
That I was wrong and she was right. But the problem is pride, because if she admits she's wrong, then that means she's defeated. So it doesn't do nothing for the marriage. Yeah. It doesn't matter what they're arguing for anymore. It just mattered that she was right and I was wrong.
I feel like a lot of times with women, if they're wrong, they feel like, well, they look at it as like their feelings are invalid. And it's like, for me, I've learned that your feelings are valid, but you can still be wrong. Those feelings can come from other places, from past situations, from other things. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. The facts aren't your feelings. And sometimes, I mean, most women, they don't see it like that. They see that if they're feeling this way, it should be justified. It should be correct.
Yeah, and one of the things I see, like, you know, you see those funny videos on Instagram, maybe TikTok or even Facebook, and they said to win $1 million, all you have to admit was that you were wrong in this argument. And nobody does anything. You know, like they don't want to play the game. How does that show women and men in the fighting? How women were never gonna admit that they're wrong on that. Now, of course, you know, I'm not saying all women. There's a rare few that understand this and will try to end the argument and will do that. My wife does that sometimes, but it's not consistently. You know, I was never good at this. You know, I was never good at saying I was wrong. Even the therapist went to marriage counseling said, you guys are just lawyers. You know what? You're right. You know, my mind, like, at the time, I was like, well, because she said that, you know. And she doesn't want to admit that she said it. She doesn't want to admit that what she said was wrong. Because when we start arguing, and if she said the car was blue and I said no, it was red, and we go outside and the car's red, well, she say, well, see, because the tires were not the right size. I'm like, what does the tires have to do with the car? You know, no, that has nothing to do with it. You know,
I just feel like like you're saying, like as you're saying, the goalpost gets moved, the goal gets moved, the main point gets moved, and it's just one of those things where, for women, that if they want to see that sort of example or see men to admit they're wrong, they have to see it in themselves first, because it's gonna have to go both ways. That's where pride is. It's both sided. It's both sided. But I feel like men are willing to suck up their pride a lot more in arguments and situations as opposed to women.
Yeah, because men are not born. Not born, but they're.
And I don't mean to say suck up as I don't mean to say it as a bad thing, but it's like sometimes you just want peace, man. You don't want peace. Like, it's just like you don't want to argue anymore. It's like, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just, and the thing is, sometimes men just say sorry to say, it's like, I'm sorry to say, like, okay, shut up. And sometimes that's not the right answer, but sometimes you want it to be done.
So when we argue, you know, and then that's where we're stuck, you know. She's gonna say this was it. I'm gonna say this is it. Okay, so if I start, you know, the argument, you know, and when I say start an argument, it just something happened, you know, whatever it was. Either I said something wrong or I did something wrong, or if I didn't do anything wrong, but she assumed I did. Okay, no matter what it is. Okay, so then when the argument is one of us has to give, you know, one of us has to give. And the thing is, we're both going to be our pride. We're both going to be right. You know, nobody's might be wrong. But then as men, as we want to just fix the problem, fix what's going on. Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, well, it's this. Okay. All right, then let's move on and go from there. But women are not built like that. They're more emotional.
You can't just fix it right now.
And the worst thing is if you happen to raise your voice just a little bit, well, the shit show starts. And then what happens is the focus gets moved, like you said, the goalpost. So now you raise your voice a little bit. So now the argument is about you raising your voice. The other point doesn't matter because he got you. He suckered you and she got you into that. Because what happens in an argument, you say, okay, I got it. Just leave me alone. I need to cool off. But they come back at you. I got this. We're good. All right. Give me a break. And they come at you. They're like, hey, I told you, give me a break. And like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that to me. You yelled at me. You did this. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. You know, here's your ticket. Shit show. Here's your tickets, you know. and I'm like, God dang it. She got me again. But in order to move on, in order to keep pride away from there, you know, understand that, yes, there's pride. Everybody has pride. And then you have to figure out, is the argument even worth it? You know, is it, should you argument? And then, of course, for men now is like, okay, at what point do we give in to shut this argument down, you know? And I'm not saying we do that all the time, but like you said, sometimes we do have to stick up for ourselves. And then we go back to original one, which is episode the last episode for Men Unfiltered was, you know, why don't men speak their feelings? Why don't we confide in women and all this? And this is the reason. But in order to fix that, in order to move on, both of them need to change, you know. And the other person will say, well, I'm changed. I've done this. Or they'll blame something else. Okay, but right now I'm going in circles from last one, you know. But I want to move on. I want to move forward, some good thoughts. But when you're arguing, pride will be in the way. Recognize it, understand it, and then know that the argument needs to move on to de-escalating, like you were saying earlier. And is it worth it, you know, or is it one of those arguments you just give in, you know?
I think I want to say the golden standard. I think when it comes to pride, it's like you got to pick your battles. You just got to pick your battles, and you just really got to think: is it worth? Like you said, is it worth the headache? Is it worth the headache? Sometimes, I mean, you really got to ask. Like sometimes you think it is, and you're like, it's not worth arguing for 2 days or just. Everyone in a crummy mood just the house is being a negative space for 2 days. And sometimes they're just like, no, I was right. And I'm going to stick up for myself, and that is okay.
Yep. But again, we're going to move on from this because I want to make this the next episode. We're going to get more in touch with this. We touched on this a little bit. We touched on it the episode before. So the next episode, stay tuned because we're going to dissect this one completely, and we're going to get some answers. Unfortunately, we're not going to bring women in here because this is Men Unfiltered, you know.
That's right.
This might move into our regular podcast. I think we'll do that the one after that.
Yeah.
And we'll get the women involved, and I'll get my wife involved in here, and we'll put some gloves and protective gear in there.
That's right.
And we'll get in there. And leave a comment to say me what you think. Like, what are you know? Like, is pride get in the way of arguments? And when do we recognize pride is a factor in not de-escalating it? And what steps do you take on trying to de-escalate an argument from there?
Because I'm very curious. What was your first car?
My first car was a Triumph TR7 blue British car. I saw it going home from school one day. We were driving by, and I saw that blue car, and I'm like, man, that is a nice car. It looked a little sporty on there, and had like a little black top. I'm like, that kind of like, I wouldn't say not a midget car, but kind of a little bit bigger than that. And I wanted it, and it was like $600, but it wasn't working. And I'm like, I could get it to work. And I told my dad, he goes, yeah, we get it to work, you know. So we bought it. I think we drove it home. I think we did drive it. Yeah, we drove it home. So it did drive. But I stayed parking there for almost a year in there because my dad never had time to work on it. I didn't know how to work on it. So what I did one day is I started painting the car, the motor. Because I see my dad paint motors before. I'm like, well, I could paint some of this stuff. So I got in there. I started painting it, and it was looking good. I was getting the motor running there good. Then my cousin Richard was a mechanic, and we were there. He was working on cars and so forth. And I'm like, hey, can you help me out? You know, I told him like 3 times. He goes, yeah. And he goes, does it work? And I go, yeah. And I turned it on, and I went forward, went back, and it was leaking water. He goes, oh, your engine's cracked. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, let me check if there's water. There's no water in there. I'm like, what? There's no water in there? He goes, yeah. He goes, you don't even have oil in there either. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we had to hear how that stuff was in there. So I'm not sure what happened in there. But so that engine was blown and all that. And plus nobody worked on it. So I'm like, it was just a waste of money. So I'm like, So, but my actual real car that I got was a 79 Monte Carlo, beige Monte Carlo. And I love that car. That car was everything to me, you know. It wasn't a long one, but it was the one after where it kind of went down before that.
Okay.
It was after the long Monte Carlos with the big old curves and all that. And I took care of that car, you know. I got tires on it, you know. My dad helped me buy it because I wanted him to check on it, and he just needed a starter, so he helped me put a starter. Well, I think he did put the starter in there, and it worked in there. So that was good. I love that car. It was beige on the inside. Drove that car everywhere. Rarely changed the oil, you know. But back then, you didn't have to, you know. It was like you go miles and miles with those conventional oil back then on there. Plus, I didn't drive too far. I never went out of town and all that, so. But that was my car. It was good. I liked it because I liked the Cutlass Supremes back in the day. And those were nice cars, and that was kind of close to it that I could get. So, but it was good. But how about yourself?
My first car was a 93 Honda Accord, that green booger machine. 2-door. Transmission was dog doo-doo. It took 10 years to get up to 60 on a highway. And, I mean, I loved it. Like, I had, radio didn't work, so I just had a Bluetooth speaker in there.
Hey, that worked, man.
And, but the sunroof worked, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Ooh,
I had a little sunroof, and, man, I drove that thing everywhere. Couple parties, school. I mean, I think pooped the bed on me so many times at school when I first started college. And
but it took you A to B, right?
it took me A to B.
But how about in the cold? How did that work out?
Actually, the problem was it was not the cold. It was in the summer. Heat worked perfectly fine. No AC.
Oh,
so
okay.
you know that's where the sunroof came in handy because that was believe it or not, it does get hot in Connecticut. So it was tough for those like 2-3 months. But overall, I mean, that car was great. I had it for about 2 years, and then it just pooped the bed, and I never got it fixed. Like, I think it broke down one day. I was going to my unit, and I was like, okay, like somebody picked me up, and I just left it at my unit for like a year. Somebody called me, and was like, you need to get rid of this car next week, or like something's gonna happen. And I was like, all right. And I think I got it like scrapped for like $100 or something. So,
hey, $100, $100, right?
Yeah. So that was it.
See, that's not bad. I remember like cars. AC was optional. I remember back then.
Oh,
It
really?
wasn't standard like it was now.
Really?
Yeah, so we didn't have too much air condition. I remember I bought this Pontiac Firebird. It was a red one, and I loved it, you know. And it had AC, but I didn't use the AC much because you use the AC, waste gas, and all that, and I just wasn't used to it, and I didn't want to use it, you know. But I'm like, what am I doing? After like 6 months, I start turning that thing on every day. Like turn it on. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, no, you have it. Like, enjoy it, you know? So
Definitely.
So I busted that AC on all the time, but I just got so mentally not used to it, used to being hot and all that, sweaty and all that.
Yeah.
And I started using it, but I don't know what was I thinking about that.
I mean, if you're not used to it, then you're just not used to it at the same time. So it wasn't like you were in your head. You weren't missing out on anything because you never had it.
Yeah. But what about yourself? Would you? What about trucks? Would you get a sports car or a truck? If you had like a choice, like, hey, we're gonna get you one right now.
I think.
And what kind?
I think it's a trick. Not a trick question, but I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle where I think I would get. Right now, I've been eyeing an SUV. Believe it or not,
I can see that.
I'm looking. I was thinking about like a Dodge Durango, like one of those new Dodge Durangos. That's kind of been where my head's at. I see people at my job, and they have like those, pickup trucks lifted, and they're like 4'10". I feel like they need a parachute to jump out of that thing. It's like, no, I don't want that. And then I see people with sports cars, and I'm just like. And now we have like so many like bumps and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I feel like I go over one bad speed bump and that whole front end's messed up. I just feel like a nice SUV is just kind of like that perfect mix for me right now.
I think you're right about that. I think an SUV would be right because I always wanted a Maxima, because my boss had one when I worked in Houston, and it was fully loaded. And, I got one in 2013. I got me a Maxima. That sucker goes fast, There was this Hot Pursuit show on TV, how they show like the actual footage of the cars. And this car went over 200 miles after it blew all the tires just on rims, and they couldn't catch up with this car. It took them a long time to catch up. I think they drove over 400 miles till they finally stopped it, and the reason they caught it is because it crashed.
Wow.
And it blew up in flames and all that. So I'm like, man, because my son there, I'm like, that's my car. That's my car. Look exactly like it, cars and everything. But it was a 2014, mine's was 2013. And I'm like, man, because I know my car goes fast. You press that gas and boom, you drove it before.
I have. I've accidentally gone like 90.
Yeah. The most I driven is 115. I didn't want to go past that.
Yeah.
Because I was in Houston, I had a Chevy Lumina, and I took it to 110. So I wanted to beat that one, But
yeah.
But I don't want to know just something comes down the road and I crash or something. But
yeah.
But I know it goes fast. But the thing with the sports car compared to trucks, because I had a truck too, a 2015. 2013. No, what it was. No, I got my Maxima in 2015. I got a brand new Tundra truck in 2013. I love that truck. And I barely drove that truck too. I took care of it. I want to make sure everything's good. And of course, then they got stolen. Or got an accident first. So after I got an accident, I'm like, I'm going to drive that shit everywhere now. I drove that shit everywhere. And then they stole it. So I never got my truck. After that, I'm like, no, I don't want it. Like, no more trucks. Because I hear it's one of the highest step things anyway. But I love the truck because I love the highness of the truck, and I love that I could just run through those speed bumps with nothing. I'm not those typical truck owners who they go literally stop on the speed bump. And
they drive it like they're driving like a smart car.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's a truck. Go through it, And I'll go through all the speed bumps real quick. Nothing stopped me on that one. But with sports car or cars, you're low. So when you got a truck next to you and you got to look to the left or they move up in front of you, well, you can't see nothing. Or same thing for right, that you can't see. Well, right you can't see, but the lefts you can't see because they moved the truck right in front of you, and all you see is their tires. So that's the one thing I don't like about cars is that, especially at four-way stops or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with you. I think I might do an SUV right in between there, because again, trucks will probably get stolen. Because what happened, they were transporting illegals in my truck when they stole it. Once they found it like 6 months later.
Wow.
And it went through I had that truck pristine, and they had it scraped on the sides with all the bushes, like, oh, you could buy it back. I'm like, no, you don't know what kind of messed it up.
Exactly.
The chassis messed up or whatever. It's cracked or whatever. Like, no, I'm good. And that's when I got the Maxima. But no, I think I'm with you. I think that'll probably be better like that.
Yeah. I will say though, it's something about seeing it though. Every day I park next to a Mustang, Ford Mustang. I think it might be like like one of those anniversary versions. And I totally understand why people would get a sports car. Like, I get it. At the end of the day, I do understand. Like, it is, especially when, like you say, you take care of it, it is pristine. It is a pristine car. I will say that. But just, again, where I'm living right now and all these trucks on the road and stuff like that, and just a lot of times, yeah, I would rather just have that SUV right now.
I like when these sports cars, because mainly Mustangs drive slow.
Mm-hmm.
I've rarely seen a Mustang that would drive fast. And when I see one driving fast, I'm like, yeah, go, because you're like a rare one that would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I'm driving, I usually pass up cars because my road here in Grissom, the left lane is a slow lane for some reason. And some of them are sports cars that I would pass up. It's not like I'm tag telling them and I'm going faster on them. I just put my blinker to the right, go to the right, and just start going. And then they start going faster. I'm like, oh, you're one of them. You want to go slow, but you want nobody to pass you. So they go fast, and I'm like, well, my car goes just as fast. So boom, I'm right there with them. And then they go faster, and I go. I'm still right there with them because they didn't realize that my car's fast. So and then what do? They just start slowing right back down because they know, like, my car is just as fast as theirs. They're like, okay, nope, I can't get them. They might do that to other cars that can't go fast, especially the ones that stop everywhere, one of those stop cars. But I like doing that. Like, when they try to go fast, I'm like, buddy, I got a fast car too. Yeah. And I usually do that. But going back to that, going back to something else there. It's getting. I was telling the last podcast that the weather's getting good, and I like to sit outside. And I call that. I think that's like my second cave, because the studio is the first one, Because out there, because you've been outside with me sometimes there, and we have the TV going on outside.
Oh, yeah.
We have the Bluetooth speakers, a real nice speaker outside, and we got the cigars going, we got the drinks going, and everything's good. And even during the winter, we have the heater outside too.
Oh yeah.
Or in the summer, not summer, but spring, we have like fans out there. So, and I call it like that's my second man cave. I think you were supposed to get a man cave in the garage, weren't you, at one time?
At one point, yeah.
But that garage is hot.
It is, man.
It is hot in there.
Yeah, it is. That's not a man cave. That's a man volcano, man. That thing, especially this summer, just doing. Like, when I'm trying to get out, like, the lawnmower, I'm just, like, and I'm cleaning up and stuff like that, just small. Like, once I'm there past 15 minutes, I'm drenched, dude. I'm, like, drenched. So I think, for me, I have my little office area. That's probably going to be more of my semi-cave.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I got that right now.
Because I know you added a deck to the backyard.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out. Your daughter and I were trying to figure out what we want to do. Whether we do a gazebo and get the outdoor furniture and just kind of. It's a big patio, so we got some room to kind of play around with and see.
Yeah, my recommendation right now, because I know it's not covered right now, but they have those large umbrellas. They might be about 200, and they extend out like to 3 or 4 the size of a regular umbrella.
Okay.
Like a regular large one, one large one. Some extend out to 2 or 3 size that much. I think that might be something that, that will cover it, because it depends on the sun. I think your backyard is like mine. The sun comes from whatever east or whatever east, and then it just goes right above my house.
Oh yes,
exactly right above. So it's just beaming right on us.
Yeah, it beats up on the backyard for sure.
Because I was there one day. I think you were at work, and I was with Brianna, and I went outside, take the dog out, and I look at the sun on top. I'm like, man, this one's just like us. Like it's like it just beams right on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that's just our luck or what.
I don't know, but I think that's for the immediate time. I think that's probably a really good idea. Yeah, we definitely want to try to get something going, like just to be able to like listen to music or just be outside because it's here. I feel like you get like 5-6 months where you can just be outside,
Yes.
like in the evenings or in the mornings, whatever whatever you'd like to do.
Because I also have that 50-inch TV still. I got extra.
Oh,
I got that as you could throw it outside, and if of course you tarp it at the end of the day, but if it gets messed up, well, no harm, no foul. Just free TV.
oh no,
It's one of my extras. I got an extra.
Oh no,
50
it's
TV.
not getting messed up. It's football Sunday. If we can figure out,
Oh my God!
if
Yes.
if you can figure out, if I can figure out something, oh no.
Well, talk to me about this inside cave you were just talking about. So you,
Well, right now I have a IKEA desk and a little Alex drawer system. I know.
does it have a bed in there still?
No bed. We took
Oh,
the bed
nice.
out.
Okay.
So I got more space to kind of play around with.
Now, what kind of studio would this be? You could put like some lounge chairs in there or some recliners or like what kind of, is it a movie theater room? Is it like a playroom with some maybe foosball tables or?
I think I want it just like I think I just really want it to be more of like I would say maybe like a small, like a mini love seat. I don't know. Like a small couch, like
a love seat?
yeah, like a love seat. Maybe like a small love seat.
Reclining?
No,
Now we're getting to thousands of dollars.
no, and also I'd probably never go to bed. Brianna would find me there like 11 o'clock, just slumped out. I think I would probably want like a bigger desk. I think I'd probably shoot for a bigger desk, because the desk I have is nice, but I want a little bit more space so I can just have one side to just put my game system, and then other side I can have my monitor and then possibly a laptop or some sort of a hard drive. So I can kind of flip-flop between just watching videos and like working on the computer.
Because I know James had he had like a gaming area.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other side, he had his computer on the other side.
I think,
there.
yeah, that's probably be something like that.
But you don't play games much, so are you going to go back into games?
I flip-flop so much. I want to. I want to play more video games. It's just being more better, just finding more time. I think I'm gonna try at least on the weekends to, get like 2 hours of gaming in, for sure. I like, guys, kind of typical, I guess, sporty games like the NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, which are all those games are actually coming back because they're.
Oh yeah, it's time
So
during Christmas. I think
yeah.
October, or this month, November and December is when they all start coming out again.
Yeah, they're all starting to come out now, so it's gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna get myself looking at possibly getting a basketball video game. So the new basketball video game, which I feel like everyone's already miles and miles ahead of me, already out. But I just look forward to playing, man. I just miss playing online, getting trash talked to by like 13-year-olds online. So it's fun. I enjoy it. So
you're like you work 40 hours a week and all that, then go cut the grass in the weekend. And
yeah,
then go
exactly.
play.
It's like
See how you're gonna feel.
They'd be like, "Shut up, over there, get off the game." Literally.
I know when I got James started getting into gaming, but he did like little streaming and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought him we got him for Christmas a gaming chair. We got him the Elgato Stream Deck on there. We got him better monitors on there, headphones, even the microphones. Everything. We got him all that stuff. Is that something you're going for too, or just give me a controller and a game?
I'm more a controller, headset. Just more for the love of the game. Your daughter got me a really nice gaming chair. I do have that already.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Excuse me. Very comfortable. A lot of gadgets like I can adjust and stuff like that.
Ooh, nice.
So, I can sit in that thing for hours. Like when I'm doing schoolwork, one thing I am not complaining about is just like my chair. It is very, very comfortable.
What about controllers? Because I know I think I updated his controller too. Because I tried to get him a wireless one, but the wires have more buttons and more control over games, and like
Yeah.
you could adjust the latencies and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can. You can. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I think I probably just, no. I like the control I have right now. I probably have to do a little bit more research, but I might get in due time, I'll probably get a custom one, maybe get like a skin on it, like a Boston Celtics skin or like a Spider-Man skin or something like that on it.
Nice. What about headsets? I think we raised up the headset too. Well, it was a Turtle Beach. It was a Turtle Beach one, and I forget what kind it was. I think we paid $149 for it or something.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not too picky with headsets. I've actually never had a gaming headset, so.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I'm looking.
Then how did you play the games online? You just.
I sometimes I borrowed one from a friend, or sometimes they had their speaker on, so like they'll be playing and I can like hear them talking trash.
Nice.
As I'm playing.
Okay, I get it.
So
Shoot, all that would be good, especially get in there and start doing all that.
Oh,
and that's actually how I got into my YouTube channel.
Really?
JD Wired is by looking up all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
man.
trying to get the specs, and a lot of they were all the exact same video, just different people doing it, the same specs, the same way. And I'm like, man, y'all need to do this differently, show more than what you showed. And that's how I got into that, to show more. And I do step by step.
Yeah, no, I've seen, because I had to use it. One of your videos for setting up the Wi-Fi router, and I'm like, oh,
that's right.
Instead of calling you, I'm just like, I can just go on your page. I figure it out like that. So.
Yeah, and I did a lot of the step by steps of how to do that. But they don't see, like, sometimes it took me like an hour just to get all that stuff in there. But I'd rather take the hour and then show everybody exactly all my, like, I made a lot of mistakes so they know exactly what to do.
Yeah, no, you're saving people a lot of time. So you're saving people a lot of time, myself included. And I feel like, yeah, you've definitely found a market where, because I think sometimes with people making the videos, they're not, either they make it so many or they're just not seeing it from the average novice consumer, like, because maybe tech's not their thing, but they're trying to do something for someone, so they're trying to get into the tech world. And I think that you do a good job with your knowledge to, meet that person where they're at, and to kind of push the video.
Thanks, yeah.
That's what I felt when I was going through it. I was like, I don't gotta, because I was like, if I don't get this video, I'm just gonna call him. And I was like, I got it. I got it.
Like, watch the video again. That was good.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting the game, getting the game and setup going for sure. Definitely, if not the end of this year, start of next year, and just gaming away.
I think I had James a TV. I had a TV. I think I had a 32-inch TV on there. But I realized that TV wasn't the best ideal for
monitor. Just monitor. I was talking to Brianna like that. I was like, I don't need TVs are just kind of, not say obsolete, but it's just not ideal for.
I actually thought it was the best thing, and I got a TV. Well, we had an extra TV, another one.
Yeah, which is like, exactly. It works. Like, I get it, but if you want, if a gamer probably had a choice, I'd probably go with more of a monitor.
Because then I started looking at when I started going through all this stuff, and I'm like, oh no, a TV's not good. He needs a monitor. So I got him a gaming monitor. From there, and it worked pretty good. But I think he broke it because of the brace it was on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was too tight, and when it shifted, it cracked the screen. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I'm the one who gave him that brace and all that, so I didn't get too mad. I'm like, well, it was like 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So he did get some usage out of that.
All right.
So I noticed that's what it was too. My mind, I think that's what it was. All right, now that we discussed that, let's get back into something serious, because this is a men's only podcast. When I say men's only, just for us, men only, to be here and talking. What advice would you give to a younger man, younger than yourself, now that you're at your state of where you're at? And if somebody would have told you, this doesn't have to be like maybe your father or anybody should have told you, just something that you learn on your own, like, man, I wish I should have done this. earlier to make me better where I am right now?
I would say two things. Don't worry about trying to find the right job. Worry about trying to have more and new, trying to have more and new experiences, because you never know where your passions. You're gonna find your passion. I feel like I wasted some time just trying to figure out the right plan or the right job, but I feel like I kind of stumbled upon my passion just by saying yes, I will try this, or yes, I will try that, and some of those things didn't work out, but a couple things did, and I feel like because of that, I figured out what I want to do now, for sure, at least for my foreseeable future. And also, if you want to go to college and you figure that out at 18, just finish college, because it's hard. It's hard going back, man. It's hard going back as you get older. Life happens, things happen. So if you decide that you want to make college your plan, stick it out. Stick it out.
Yeah, with college, it's easy to get away from college. It's easy to take a break from college, but it's harder to stay with it and stick to it.
Yes.
Like they say, the harder it is, the better the outcome is going to be.
That is
the better
so,
in life you would be.
That is so true.
I think what you said about the job, because you were determined, you were trying to figure out your way, your career, which is a man supposed to do. We're all right. How are we gonna make our money? I just finished, graduated, whatever. College maybe wasn't the thing. What am I gonna do next? And I think because those experiences you had, where you tried some things, and you found your way, and I think because, like you said, you try something new. So I think by your experiences, you're opened up to new experiences.
Sure.
And you got it because you were determined. Like when I was younger, I went to college. First, I wanted to be a lineman, where you work in the power lines, because I was in electrical trades in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, wow, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in the hot air and the cold and all that. I'm like, no, in the rain. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to be an architect. I was very good in drafting and architecting, designing houses. I'm like, I want to do that. But unfortunately, you got to go to college. And I wasn't the brightest person back then to know about certain things, and study habits were poor. I met my girlfriend, all this, found out about wine and all this stuff, So like, man, the candy was great, so I went a different path, and I went into retail, kind of like what you said, and retail was my thing, my passion there, and I took off from there. Yeah. And I made a career out of that. But yeah, I get what you're saying about, just, better yourself, educate yourself, do that.
Yeah, I would say that's the better way to put it, educate yourself, because, yeah, whether it's trade school or college, if you feel like that's your thing, just stick with it, because you don't want to have to try again. You don't want to have to possibly restart or try again, and you have more going on in your life, and it just makes it that your time management has to be even more efficient.
I bet, especially working a full-time job, plus you're also reserves and all this. You have all these responsibilities.
Yeah, it's not Yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different now, but it's doable. But it's just like time management again.
And this is what I always tell younger people, younger guys, especially like yourself. Now imagine throwing a kid in the mix.
That is what is like I don't want to say scary. It seems like too harsh of a term, but that's what's concerning for me. Is that obviously I'm responsible for my wife, responsible for my house that I live in, but now I'm being responsible for an additional human, like everything, as well as those other responsibilities. Yeah.
Yes, because at least when you get home, you do some chores, whatever you got to do, and then whatever it is. But you got some free time.
Yes.
Then your free time will be, you got a kid in your lap. You're watching, trying to get football, trying to put a bottle in there, or gaming, or something. And 2 hours later, you forgot you had the kid. and the kids outside down the street, you know.
Oh my goodness.
No, man. I know you're not going to do that. But for myself, what I would give advice to a younger me or younger person, like, is take care of your body, your health. You know, don't abuse it. Don't think you're Superman. Don't think you could do it all and your body could withstand it. Because over time, you're gonna pay it back. You know, the body's it's gonna get something from you. Like me, I always lifted heavy things. You know, I worked in retail, so we always had these 200-pound, 300-pound boxes of furniture, whatever it was. And I would move them like nothing, you know, moving over here, moving there. We had to redo the whole warehouse, and I'll be the one, you know, lifting all that. My mistake was I had a lot of leg muscle back then, you know. I wasn't like big legs, but my muscles were strong in my legs as well. So I would put a 300-pound desk on my foot, on my shoe, and I would lift it up with my thigh, my leg, and it would help me all the time. You know, of course, you know, you got the lifting position, but I'm like, oh, just put it here, boom, lift it up real quick. You know, it's kind of like a little toss, and I would get it, and I would move it. I'd do the same thing again, you know. Then my knees are bad now. My knees are bad. And I know it had to be because a lot of that, what it was. And, you know, I ate wrong. You know, I don't blame myself too much of that. I think that was just more of a financial thing. Yeah. You know, I didn't come from a lot of money. You know, we ate what we had, you know, and eating healthy is expensive, you know, so that took there. But when you get older, like, you got to, like, okay, cut the good shit out, you know, and I didn't do that, you know. Of course, now I drink a little bit too much. I smoked too much back then, you know, so and it all comes back now. Now I got high blood pressure, you know. I got migraines all the time, you know. My knees hurt all the time now. So if I would have taken better care of myself, I wouldn't be spending $300 or $400 on medication a month or something like that, you know. And my prostate's bad, but that's more of a hereditary thing because my dad has prostate, my uncles had prostate. They all passing away because of prostate. My grandfather had prostate issues. So, I mean, but the good thing medication now is helping. But, you know, it's like, but I just say take care of your body. Go work out. Go to that gym, you know, and stay there longer. Like, I started working out a lot when in my 20s. I think I was 23. And I was buying weights. I was lifting weights. I was running. And I'm like, man, and I would look at these younger guys there. I'm like, man, maybe I'm too old to be working out. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this no more. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking of back then? You know?
Yeah, 23. At 23, which, yeah, you can't compare yourself to a kid that's 18 or so.
But see, but thing is, I was running stores back then. I was a store manager of these places. So I was, like, responsible for a lot of stuff. So and I hired a lot of young people. So, but the thing was, like, man, my mentality was not right back then, you know. But I say that, take care of your body, you know. Watch what you put in your body, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever you smoke. Just know it's gonna pay in the future. The more you take care of it, the more your body's gonna be there.
It all has a price. It all has a price.
Yeah, because losing weight at my age is hard. Like, you could run, like, before I would run like 3 or 4 miles, no problem, and I could just cut weight. I literally have to run maybe 30 miles just to lose 1 pound or something that I had back then. I'm just saying I don't do it all in one time.
No, I'm just saying the fact that, like, you can't. It's not it's no more quick. It's not a quick thing anymore. It's like, okay, I gotta have a plan. I have to have a bigger plan just to lose half as much.
Yep. But now they have these magical pills and shots that you could take that do that, which means that all those Me Too movements are gone now. You know, all those bigger people who are like,
man,
they're shaming. They're like, oh no, are you whatever, because of my body and all that. Yeah. Where are those people now?
I was about to say,
if they're taking those pills, what happened to those Me Too? If they're taking those shots,
Hollywood has slimmed down tremendously.
A lot of people have slimmed down, you know, and they were part of that Me Too movement, you know. So what happened to Me Too? They're like, Me Too on that shot. Me Too on that, you know. that magic pill is working for a lot of things, which is great for everybody, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Get your body there, but don't eat the same. You know, you got to recognize.
No,
all
it's
that.
definitely it helps you get to the goal faster, but it's not the cheat code. It's not the cheat code.
It's use your brain is really the cheat code there. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in for next week. Well, not next week. The next, I think it's every 2 weeks. We release every Thursday, every second Thursday,
Every Thursday
at 9:00, and release another one for you. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be a doozy on that one. Any comments listed below. Thank you, Darren, for being here.
Of course.
And see you in the next one. Like James says, peace.